Disney World has some seriously unexpected rules. Some are funny, some are frustrating, and some will get you banned. Number 1, the day my balloon got arrested. You arrive at Disney World buzzing with magic. You head straight to Main Street, buy that iconic Mickey balloon, and feel complete. And then you walk into Animal Kingdom about an hour later, and the magic stops dead. Because this is the moment you discover the balloon that Disney sold you an hour ago is suddenly banned. They tell you, sorry, it just can't go in. You look at them bewildered. But it's Disney magic, you say. Oh, this isn't just policy. This is Disney saying, not even for children's joy. Cast members aren't here to argue. They politely confiscate these whimsical objects before you even enter. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Disney doesn't just pop your balloon and throw it away. They hold it for you. Picture this. You hand over your balloon at the gate, a cast member gently tags it, pockets it into a bin labeled something like balloon daycare, and hands you a claim ticket. No refund, no look of pity, just a come back later, kiddo. Then, hours later, after trekking through nature trails, shamelessly reenacting Kilimanjaro safari with your family, and sweating what feels like an entire water park's worth of hydration, you circle back, and there it is. A safety rule delivered through story. Animal Kingdom doesn't treat the balloon like trash, they treat it like a guest. Balloons are banned in Animal Kingdom because burst fragments can choke or harm the animals that roam the park. Also, a popping balloon can scare the animals just like it scares me when I'm in every other park in Disney World. This balloon daycare doesn't feel like confiscation. It kind of feels like a magical story. It's like a journey that your balloon gets to go on vacation, a separate vacation from you in Animal Kingdom. And that's kind of fun. Sorry, kid, you can't bring the balloon in, but we respect how much it means to you. That's why it feels controversial, because you can bring a balloon into Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot, but when you try Animal Kingdom, it's not today, pal. Number 2, the day the sky went silent. There are only a handful of places in the United States where the skies are permanently off limits. You've got the White House, the Capitol, Camp David, and Disney World? And it's not a joke. That is federal law. In 2003, Congress passed a little amendment that created a permanent no-fly zone over both Walt Disney World and Disneyland. It's called a temporary flight restriction, or a TFR, but don't let the name fool you. This thing is not temporary. It's still in place over 20 years later. What does that mean in practice? It means no small aircraft, no banner ads, no surprise aerial stunts into the parks, no drone swarms for your wedding proposal. If you fly over the parks, you're breaking FAA law. Why does this exist? Ask Disney and they'll point to safety. They don't want planes buzzing over guests. Fair enough, but ask literally anyone else and you'll get a different theory, one that feels a lot more on brand. Because right before the law passed, there were rumors that anti-Disney protesters were planning to fly banners over Cinderella Castle. Aerial messages targeting corporate policies, disrupting the magic from above. And not long after that, boom, legislation. No fly zones for Disney, not for Universal, not for SeaWorld, just Disney. Which brings us here, to the only place on Earth where you can buy a $100 remote control X-Wing, but you can't legally fly it over Batuu. The irony is pretty awesome. Disney built a galaxy full of spaceports, rocket launches, alien flight simulators, and then banned real flying from the airspace above. It's not a detail most guests will ever notice, but that's the point. The illusion only works if you don't look up and see something that doesn't belong. This isn't just airspace regulation, this is Disney declaring total control over your line of sight. From the moment you pass under the welcome sign, you're not just on private property, you're under protected sky. So if you ever wondered how far Disney would go to keep the fantasy intact, look up and then look around. Listen, you're gonna see planes in the distance, just not right over your head. You might see some skywriting up above, and that is way far away off of Disney property. You're not gonna see a plane fly over Cinderella Castle with a banner. It's banned. Number 3, the stick that shut down the ride. There was a time when Disney World feared no weapon more than a selfie stick. These telescoping symbols of narcissism hit the parks like a swarm of locusts in 2014, just after Time magazine named them one of the year's best inventions. By early 2015, they were everywhere, packed into backpacks, extended overhead like periscopes, dangling over railings, sneaking onto Space Mountain. The problem wasn't just aesthetic, it was catastrophic. Because then it happened. June 2015, California Screamin', a guest pulled out a selfie stick mid-ride while the coaster was speeding. That one selfish move forced an emergency stop of the entire attraction. Riders were evacuated. The ride was shut down. Cast members were left scrambling to clean up the aftermath of a single snap-happy guest who decided the rules didn't apply to them. That was the final straw. A few days later, Disney issued a full resort-wide ban. Not just on rides, everywhere, every park, every resort, even downtown Disney and Disney Springs. Selfie sticks were no longer a threat, they were now contraband. Yep, they were banned. And Disney didn't tiptoe around it either. They created specific checkpoints at bag inspection lines. If they saw one, they didn't offer storage. They didn't ask you to put it away. They confiscated it. Cast members tagged it, dropped it into holding bins, and handed you a receipt. You could come back for it at the end of the day. But the message was clear: this isn't a suggestion, this is a ban. Why? Because a selfie stick can endanger lives. They extend, they snag, they swing. On roller coasters, that means you're suddenly waving a metal rod next to someone else's face while moving 60 miles an hour. And Disney, where safety is sacred, wasn't about to let that slide. But here's the thing. Selfie sticks weren't just popular, they were emotional. For some guests, especially international visitors, they were a core part of the experience. Families had traveled thousands of miles only to be told the tool they brought to capture the trip was now forbidden. It felt personal, like Disney was attacking joy itself. But Disney didn't blink, because when joy becomes dangerous, Disney bans it. And they banned the heck out of the selfie sticks. They banned them not just because of one incident, but because they saw the trend coming like a tidal wave. They banned them to protect ride safety, yes, but also to preserve the flow of parades, the operation of queues, and respect of other guests, and of course, most importantly, the dignity of the park. And they banned them in a way that made it clear, this is not a case-by-case decision. This is a policy, and this is permanent. And that's why this wasn't just a ban, it was a cultural extinction event. Yeah, you heard me. I see you, selfie lovers out there. You loved that selfie stick. I know a heavy, hardcore user of the selfie stick, and I'm sorry for your loss. Number 4, Grandma deserves better. You might remember in this other video right here where we talked about how people scatter ashes in Disney parks and how it's not just Haunted Mansion. Ashes have shown up on Pirates, Space Mountain, even in flower beds thanks to Whoopi Goldberg and Ariana Grande, and no, that's not a joke. Watch the other video. We talked about Code Grandma. We also confirmed that no, you can't legally scatter remains on Disney property, not in the parks, not on the cruise line, not anywhere. But here's the thing, it still happens. Enough that Disney has an entire protocol for it. And that's why it belongs here on the list of things that are banned in Disney World. Not for being illegal necessarily, not for being spooky, because obviously ghosts are in ashes, but because the magic stops cold the second you try it. It's quiet on Haunted Mansion. The ride stops for a moment. One of those ghosts have interrupted pauses, but this one lasts longer. A cast member appears. They clear the scene. Guests are evacuated. The music cuts, lights come on. This isn't a breakdown, it's a biohazard. Because once again, someone brought human ashes into the park, and they didn't just carry them, they scattered them. Disney doesn't talk about this publicly, but it's so common they have a name for it among cast members. Code Grandma. That's the internal term when they suspect cremains, if you will, have been dumped into a ride, and no attraction gets hit more often than Haunted Mansion. Some people see it as a tribute. They believe that spreading a loved one's ashes in their favorite ride is a magical gesture, like leaving a part of them behind in the place they loved most. But that's not how Disney sees it. It's not how they're allowed to see it, because when you drop cremains on a track in a queue or over the edge of a boat on Pirates of the Caribbean, you're not making a tribute. You're creating a health hazard. Ashes are still human remains, whether they're, ashes or not. They're still biologically hazardous, and Disney is required by law to treat them like any other contamination. No ceremony, no final resting place, no ghost story. Well, maybe there, I don't know, I'd be interested. Do you have a ghost story about spreading ashes? Let us know in the comments below. But what we know about now is just a cleanup and consequences. In most cases, the guest isn't caught, but if they are, you could be permanently banned for life from Walt Disney World, and that happens more often than you'd think. People have been caught sneaking ashes in film canisters, pill bottles, even makeup compacts. Security can't check for cremains, so they rely on cast members to spot this behavior. Someone lingering too long, someone acting strangely, someone making a quiet hand motion near a track. And then, just like that, the ride stops. The magic, well, it dies, if you will, pun intended. I don't know, is that a pun in this case? And everyone on board has to wonder just what happened. There are stories of cast members crying after these incidents because they know what guests are trying to do, but they also know what happens next. There is no resting place in a Disney ride. There is only a vacuum bag and the dumpster. It's one of the darkest taboos on Disney property, and yet it keeps happening because people don't want to let go. Not of the magic, not of the memory, not of the person they loved. But Disney's stance is firm. You want to say goodbye at Walt Disney World? Don't bring the ashes. Bring a story, bring a picture, bring your memories. Because if you try to make someone part of the ride forever, Disney will make sure they don't stay there much longer than about a half an hour. Number 5, no mermaids allowed. Sorry, Ariel. You're lounging at the Fuentes del Moro pool at Caribbean Beach Resort. You're sipping a margarita. It tastes really good. It's making you feel even better. Your kids are living their ultimate vacation dreams, gliding under pirate-themed fountains, diving down swashbuckling water slides, laughing so hard they sound like dolphins. Then the record scratches. An adult woman flops into the water. Red hair flowing, a custom-made silicone mermaid tail shimmering in the sun. It cost more than your entire vacation, and honestly, she looks kind of incredible. But there's a ripple through the pool, an emotional one, in addition to the physical one from her, getting in the water. Kids freeze, grown-ups stare, and within seconds, a cast member appears. They don't whisper, they don't hesitate, they just say it flat. That's banned. Mermaid tails, monofins, any swimwear that binds the legs together. Banned from every Disney resort pool. Not because it isn't magical, because, it is, but because it's a safety risk. One wrong kick, one underwater tangle, one guest who thinks they can channel Ariel but ends up panicking, and that's all it takes. Especially if that guest is a child. I know how cute it might seem to say, let's buy a mermaid tail and make our 7-year-old into Ariel. And, I think that's a great idea for a beach vacation, but not in Walt Disney World. Just, it's banned. And also you want to supervise that child very closely when they're wearing that type of thing. And that's why cast members shut it down immediately with no debate. There is no wiggle room, pun intended. And if you spent $1,500 to $6,000 on a custom silicone tail for your Disney dream moment, too bad, you're still banned from becoming part of that world. Number 6, the banned tours. For years, Disney guests hired independent guides, typically local experts or self-styled insiders, to help them navigate the parks. These guides advertised mostly on social media and handled everything from crafting itineraries and booking dining to managing the skip-the-line service reservations or the DAS strategies, all for about $180 to $300 per hour. These were not cast members or affiliated with Disney at all, but they claimed to know the parks inside and out. Meanwhile, Disney's official VIP tours, run by cast members and featuring backstage access, cost $450 to $900 per hour, significantly more. These independent guides became popular because they advertised deep park expertise at a lower cost. They were especially helpful for new visitors, large families, or those who needed accessibility support but didn't want to pay for Disney's more expensive VIP services. Many guests confused these services with legitimate VIP tours since the service felt and looked so professional in most cases. Disney observed a surge in what it called unauthorized commercial activity, guides obtaining access to services like, back then it was Genie Plus, or that it was FastPass or DAS, and they were using this incorrectly, which disrupted fair access for other guests. Disney pointed out the impact on ride operations and guests who rely on official support services. In fact, Disney compared unauthorized guides to someone selling coffee in a Starbucks without permission. We do not permit unauthorized commercial activities in our theme parks. The crackdown began in late 2023. Some guides found their Magic Band access invalidated at entry. Some bans were flagged, resulting in immediate denial of entry. Cast members working with Orange County deputies pulled guides aside and issued trespass notices, banning them from all Disney properties, including parks, resorts, and Disney Springs. These bans are indefinite, with appeals allowed after 1 year. The ban blindsided many guides who had operated openly for years. Guests who frequently used these services, especially those needing assistance, found themselves scrambling. On forums and outlets, some defended the guides as resourceful, while others criticized potential abuse of systems like DAS. Disney's enforcement was firm, regardless of prior history. A spokesperson doubled down. This activity impacts the experience of guests following the rules, including our guests with disabilities, and impedes operations. Number 7, hole in none. You can walk into Magic Kingdom in a tank top and pajama pants and no one will blink. You can eat a $62 steak at Le Cellier wearing board shorts and a sunscreen-stained Goofy tee. Disney is many things, but fashion police? Not usually. So if someone told you the strictest dress code in Walt Disney World is at a restaurant, you might believe them, but they'd still be wrong. Yes, some Disney World restaurants do have guidelines. Here's what they actually say. Victoria and Albert's dress code states, guests are expected to dress accordingly in semi-formal or formal attire that respects the restaurant's elegant and opulent aesthetic. Monsieur Paul says guests are expected to dress accordingly in attire that adheres to the restaurant's sophisticated and upscale aesthetic. Clothing should be clean, neat, and in good condition. Please, no swimwear. Takumi Te says guests are expected to dress accordingly in attire that adheres to the restaurant's sophisticated and upscale aesthetic. Clothing should be clean, neat, and in good condition. Please no swimwear. Similar messaging with very slight tweaks based on the story that they're trying to tell in that particular restaurant. And these are suggestions, not full restrictions. Upscale aesthetic, no swimwear. That's it. You won't be tossed out for wearing jeans or even a themed button-down with Dole Whip print on it. But there is one place in Walt Disney World where the rules are serious. And they don't just suggest what to wear, they ban what not to. And it's not a dinner show, it's not a fancy lounge, it's a golf course. Disney's Palm, Magnolia, Lake Buena Vista, and Oak Trail courses don't play around when they're playing. These are PGA tier courses that host real tournaments, and if you don't look the part, you don't play the part. The dress code is posted in black and white, and here's what's banned. Are you ready? Denim, any color, any brand. Tank tops and graphic tees. Cutoff shorts and cargo shorts. Sweatpants, gym shorts, leggings and swimwear, and metal cleats. The courses require proper golf attire. That means collared polo shirts, tailored pants or Bermuda shorts, and soft spike golf shoes or clean sneakers. Women are expected to wear golf-appropriate skirts, dresses, or slacks with modest tops. And yes, they do enforce it. You can wear Mickey Crocs to a brunch at Chef Art Smith's. You can wear themed pajamas on the Jungle Cruise, But if you show up to tee off at Magnolia in jeans, you'll be banned before you even see the first green. Number 8, water you can't touch anymore. Imagine it's 1971. You've just checked into Disney's brand new Polynesian Village Resort. Outside your hotel room is not just a beach, it's a man-made lagoon engineered to feel like the South Pacific. And the plan isn't just to look at it, you're supposed to swim in it, surf it, and ski across it. Because Seven Seas Lagoon wasn't just decorative, it was built for water sports. A massive wave machine was installed on a small island just offshore, designed to send rideable surf rolling up to the beach. It didn't last long. The artificial waves started eroding the shoreline and interfering with the ferry traffic. Maintenance was a nightmare. Within a few years, the machine was shut off and left to rust beneath the overgrowth. But that didn't stop the rest of it. For decades, guests swam, water skied, parasailed, and took boats out across the lagoon. Disney treated it like a resort marina. The beaches were real beaches. The lagoon was your playground until 2016. That summer, a 2-year-old boy was waiting near the shore at Grand Floridian when he was pulled under by an alligator and passed away. It was one of the most heartbreaking moments in Walt Disney World history, and it literally changed everything. Within hours, Disney closed all natural water access to guests. No swimming signs were posted overnight. Shoreline fences went up. Rocks covered up the entryway to the beaches. Fire pits and hammocks were pulled back. Entire recreation programs disappeared. The water sports did not come back. Parasailing was suspended. Small boat rentals were reduced or eliminated. Beaches became purely scenic. No more waiting, no more dipping your toes in, no more sunset splashing after a day in the parks. And though few people talk about it directly, you can still feel the shift. You experience the aftermath to this day. Seven Seas Lagoon is still beautiful. The sun still sets over it. Fireworks still reflect in its surface, but it's not the playground Walt imagined anymore. It's a boundary now. It's a memorial, a quiet reminder of a tragic event. You used to be allowed to swim in that water. Now, you're not even allowed to stand in it. It's been banned. Number 9, ice cold and banned. It's wild they're playing Frozen right now as I'm doing this section on ice. You can pack sandwiches, you can pack soda, but you can't pack loose ice. Disney bans both dry ice and regular ice that isn't sealed in a reusable pack, and they've been doing it since 2019. That means no cooler full of party ice and no fancy dry ice smoke tricks either. Oh, wish I'd thought of that before the ban. The reason is simple: security. Loose ice made bag checks slower and messier and caused real slipping hazards when people dumped it out on the ground. Dry ice brought even bigger safety concerns, including chemical burns and clouds of fog that were dangerous for security. People, I can't get over the fact that it sounds exciting. I don't know. It's a good thing it's banned because I would be encouraging it right now. So Disney made the rule permanent. Bring whatever snacks you want. Just don't let your ice touch air. That means keep it in the sealed bag that it came in. Ice packs. We're talking about pre-sealed ice packs here, friends. Just don't let loose ice touch air. It's gotta be sealed. And not in a Ziploc either. Number 10, the stickiest ban of all. Walt Disney hated gum. Not the chewing, but the spitting. When Disneyland opened in 1955, he made a choice that would shape every Disney park after it. Gum would not be sold on property. He didn't want guests stepping in it, scraping it off benches, or watching cast members pry it off railings with putty knives. And to this day, you still won't find gum for sale inside Disneyland or Walt Disney World. But here's a little twist. Gum isn't actually banned necessarily. There's no rule stopping you from bringing it in, chewing it all day, or blowing bubbles the size of a Mickey balloon. Disney just counts on one thing. If you can't buy it, you probably won't have it. So not so much a ban, but it's a disappearing act, and it worked. The ground is cleaner, the benches are safer to sit in, and gum quietly became one of the most controlled substances in Disney history without ever even making the banned list. Everybody just knows it was a no-no for Uncle Walt, and so I'm not doing it either. And now a quick fire round of more things that are banned in Walt Disney World. Oversized strollers, gone. Anything bigger than 31 by 52 inches is out. Same for ECVs, which are over 32 by 52 inches. Signs and banners? Nope. Disney won't let you turn Main Street into a protest rally. Adult costumes? Not unless you're under 14 or paying for a Halloween party ticket. Bounding is fine. Literally dressing like Elsa is not. Pets and ESAs, only trained service dogs. No purse pups, no emotional support peacocks, though that would be fabulous. Line cutting? Banned. Saving a spot or shoving ahead can get you pulled from the ride. Folding chairs? Forget about it. No camping out in the hub waiting for a parade or fireworks. Drones? Absolutely not. The sky is off limits, remember? Drones included. Megaphones? Disney runs the soundtrack, not you. Skateboards? Same story. No bikes except for designated areas, no boards, no scooters. If you made it to the end, go ahead and put this password in the comments below, and while you're down there, why not hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know when myself or one of my friends comes out with a brand new video, something we do all week. See you next time. Oh, and remember, we're serious about fun here. Bye.